In the book, there are 1,000 measures of grain. In the book, there is a golden house. In the book, there is a beauty like jade. Ruyu did not come for love, but was summoned by the obsession with books. She is a symbol, a representation, carrying profound meanings. She is the lover of Lang Yuzhu, the bookworm, and also his guide on the path of growth. It was she who transformed the bookish recluse, who only knew how to read dead words, into an elegant and talented young man, helping him integrate theoretical knowledge from books into practical life. Once upon a time, Lang Yuzhu was from Pangshan. His father had been a magistrate, known for his integrity. After receiving his salary, he didn't invest in land or property. Instead, he had a deep passion for buying books, amassing a room full of them. When it came to Yuzhu, his obsession was even greater. The family was extremely poor. All their possessions were sold. But he couldn't bear to part with his father's collection of books, not even one. During his father's time, he transcribed the exhortation to learning and placed it on the right side of Yuzhu's study desk. Yuzhu would read it several times a day, and even placed a layer of white cloth over it, fearing it might wear out. Yuzhu's reading wasn't for the purpose of becoming an official. He genuinely believed in the saying in the book, "There are 1,000 measures of grain. In the book, there is a golden house." Thus, he studied diligently day and night throughout the first seasons. In his 20s, he still hadn't married, hoping that the beauty named Ruyu from within the books would come to him on her own. Sometimes, relatives and friends visited his home, and he didn't bother with small talk. He would exchange a few words, then loudly start reading his books again as if no one else was present. Guests found this uninteresting and would leave after a short while. During every examination, the imperial envoy would choose him to participate, but he consistently failed to pass. One day, while Yuzhu was engrossed in reading, a strong gust of wind blew in and scattered his books. Yuzhu hurriedly chased after them, but as he did, he stepped on empty ground and sank into a pit. Looking down, he saw a pit covered with decaying grass. He dug deeper and realized it was a cellar where ancient people used to store grains. The grains inside had rotted into manure. Although the grains were inedible, Yuzhu became even more convinced that the saying in the book, "There are 1,000 measures of grain," was indeed true. He intensified his studies. Another day, while climbing a ladder to reach books on a high shelf, he found a small golden card about a foot long amidst a pile of disordered books. He was ecstatic, thinking that the words in the book, "There is a golden house," had come true again. He showed it to others, but it turned out to be gilded and not actual gold. Yuzhu was deeply disappointed, secretly complaining that ancient people had deceived him. Not long after, someone who had passed the same exam as his father arranged an observation tour in his province. This person was a Buddhist believer. Someone advised Yuzhu to offer the golden card to him as an offering for the Buddha. The observer was pleased and rewarded Yuzhu with 300 taels of silver and 2 horses. Delighted, Yuzhu thought that the saying in the book, "There are numerous carts and horses," in the book, "There is a golden house," had all come true, and he redoubled his efforts in studying. As Yuzhu entered his 30s, people began advising him to get married. Yuzhu responded, "In the book, there is a beauty like jade. Should I worry about not having a beautiful wife?" 2 or 3 more years passed, and no beautiful woman emerged from the books to find him. People began mocking him. At this time, a rumor circulated that the Weaver Girl's star from heaven had eloped to the mortal realm. Someone jokingly said to Yuzhu, "Perhaps she came down for you?" Yuzhu knew they were teasing him but didn't respond. One night, while reading the Honshu, he reached the 8th volume and saw a small paper woman cut out and placed between the pages. Astonished, he thought, could this be the beauty like jade from the books? He felt lost as he examined the paper woman closely. Her eyes and eyebrows were vivid, and there were faint characters written on her back. "Weaver Girl." Yuzhu was amazed, and every day he placed the paper woman on his book and admired her repeatedly, neglecting sleep and food. One day, while gazing at the paper woman, she suddenly straightened up, sat on the book, and smiled at him. Yuzhu was shocked and quickly knelt under the table. The paper woman stood up, now over a foot tall. Yuzhu was even more astonished and repeatedly kowtowed. The paper woman stepped down from the table, standing elegantly, radiating unparalleled beauty, while bowing and asking. Yuzhu said, "Who are you, celestial being?" The paper woman smiled and replied, "I'm surnamed Yan, named Ruyu. You've known about me for a long time. Thanks to your daily anticipation, if I didn't come now, I'm afraid people wouldn't believe the words of the ancients ever again." Yuzhu was overjoyed and slept with her. However, even though they were very affectionate on the bed, Yuzhu didn't understand the physical intimacy between men and women. Afterward, whenever Yuzhu read, he always had the woman sit by his side. She advised him not to read anymore, but Yuzhu didn't listen. She said, "The reason you can't excel is that you only know how to study yourself to death. Look at those who pass the imperial examinations. How many of them study like you? If you don't listen to me, I'll leave." Yuzhu reluctantly listened for a while, but then forgot and resumed reading as usual. A while later, he looked for the woman again, but didn't find her. He realized she was hidden inside the book. He hid her in the Honshu volume, hoping she wouldn't find her way back. One day, while engrossed in reading, Yuzhu didn't notice when the woman came in. He suddenly looked up, hastily closed the book, and found that she had disappeared. Yuzhu panicked, searched through his books, but couldn't find her. Finally, he found her in the same spot in the Honshu volume, and the page numbers matched perfectly. Thus, he pleaded again, swearing never to read again, and the woman descended from the book. She played chess with him, saying, "If you don't improve in chess within 3 days, I'll leave." On the third day, while playing chess, Yuzhu unexpectedly won 2 games, and the woman was pleased. She then gave him a zither and asked him to learn to play a tune within 5 days. Yuzhu played while looking at the sheet music, becoming more and more skillful over time. The woman played games and drank with him every day, and Yuzhu forgot about his studies. She told him, "Now you can take the examination." One night, Yuzhu said to the woman, "When a man and a woman live together, they will have children. We've lived together for so long, why haven't we had any?" The woman smiled and said, "You read books all day long? As I've already told you, it's useless. Even with couples, you still don't understand everything. There's more to it than just being in bed." Yuzhu asked in surprise, "What else is there?" The woman only smiled without answering. After a while, she secretly approached him and taught him. Yuzhu was ecstatic and said, "I didn't realize there was such indescribable joy between couples." He started telling people about it, causing laughter everywhere. When the woman found out, she scolded him, and he innocently said, "Stealing through walls and stealing things is something you can't tell anyone about. The joys of family life are universal, so what's there to be secretive about?" 8 or 9 months later, the woman indeed gave birth to a boy, and Yuzhu hired an old woman to take care of the baby. One day, the woman suddenly said to Yuzhu, "I've been with you for 2 years, and we already have a son. We should part ways. If we delay it any longer, it might bring you trouble, and then it will be too late for regrets." Yuzhu heard this and knelt down in tears, saying, "Don't you care about our child?" The woman was also deeply saddened. After a long time, she said, "If you want me to stay, you have to throw away all these books on the shelf." Yuzhu refused, saying, "These books are your homeland and my life. How can I say such a thing?" The woman no longer insisted and said, "I also understand that everything is predetermined. I had to tell you in advance." Earlier, someone among Yuzhu's relatives had discovered the woman, and everyone was astonished. However, they hadn't heard that he had married any young woman, so they all inquired. Yuzhu couldn't lie and remained silent, rousing even more suspicion. As a result, the story spread far and wide and reached the ears of County Magistrate Shi. Magistrate Shi, originally from Fujian, had passed the imperial examinations at a young age. Upon hearing the news of the beauty in Yuzhu's home, he developed wicked intentions and wanted to see what the woman looked like. He immediately sent constables to capture Yuzhu and the woman. Upon hearing this, the woman disappeared without a trace. Magistrate Shi was furious arrested Yuzhu, imprisoned him, stripped him of his titles, and subjected him to severe torture. Determined to force him to reveal the whereabouts of the woman, Yuzhu was tortured to the point of near death, but still didn't confess. Magistrate Shi also tortured the maidservant, but she didn't know much and only provided a general idea. Magistrate Shi then concluded that the woman was a demon and personally rode to Yuzhu's home to capture her. Seeing that the house was filled with books, making it impossible to search, he ordered the books to be set on fire. Thick smoke billowed and gathered over the courtyard like dark clouds that lingered for a long time. After Yuzhu was released, he sought help from a father's former disciple in a distant place to restore his titles. He passed the provincial examination that year and the imperial examination the following year. Yuzhu deeply resented Magistrate Shi and set up a memorial for Ruyu, praying daily, "If you have a spirit, please bless me to become an official in Fujian." Later, he was appointed as a traveling official to Fujian by the imperial court. After 3 months, during his investigation, he uncovered Magistrate Shi's misdeeds in his hometown and had his entire family punished. At the time, Yuzhu had a cousin who was a judge, and he forced Yuzhu to take a concubine, pretending she was a purchased maidservant, and she lived in Yuzhu's official residence. After this case was settled, Yuzhu resigned on the same day and returned to his hometown with his beloved concubine. Yi Shishi commented, "In the world, if one accumulates without end, one will attract envy and jealousy. If one indulges excessively, one will invite demons and troubles. Women are demons, and books are devils." The story sounds bizarre, and it might not be wrong to take some punitive action. However, acting recklessly like Qin Shi Huang burning books, isn't that a bit excessive? As for that county official harboring private intentions, he deserved the bitter retribution.
Alright,
Whom can we
this story
blame?
has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.